All right. Good day, family. We're here with the Alkalise to Realize show, and we got Atum. That's how you say Atum El-Amin, right? That's your name on.
Yes, I've publicly I changed it yesterday to just Atum. I
Just
felt as though
Atum.
I had to change it. This suits me better, and it's just straight Atum.
Okay. All right. Atum. All right. Powerful, man. So yeah, today, currently I'm live from Freeport, Grand Bahama. This is my hometown, born and raised. And brother, where you at? Which part of the
I,
world you at, man?
I'm in a small city called Chester, Pennsylvania. It's in the United
Yes.
States.
Okay. All right. Is that like your hometown? You like born there or?
Born and raised here, experienced my entire hell here. And I also found and discovered heaven here as well. So I've learned a lot. And I actually lived a great life in this place as well too. Even though I didn't have a childhood. But I figured a way as a child to have a childhood through a childhood friend, if I make sense. And the crazy part about this, and now that I'm very aware and conscious of this, is feeling as though I had a child, I was able to experience a childhood through a childhood friend that not even a coincidence, but has the same name as me, the same birth date, everything.
Wow.
So now that I'm 35, I understand, wow, everyone that comes in contact with you, you create them based off of the perception you have within yourself about yourself during a certain emotional state that you're having internally. So these things that you, of course, think of yourself or for anything, you're manifesting this, you're creating this, which means you're focused on this. So it will present itself to you. It will force itself to existence, if that makes some sense.
Right. It's true. As they say, as within, so without, and the more self-harm you do, you actually open the doorway for others to harm you as well.
Exactly.
So, yeah, absolutely agree, man. I also, your story looks a little interesting, man. Lee sent me something about, like just let me ask you, what got you on this journey, brother? Like, I love the image. I love like just your stance, like you're upright. You know what I mean? Like even someone that will sit upright, because the hunchback thing, what a lot of people do, But what got you on this journey? You know?
You see, it's like I actually knew that you were going to ask me this. Um, it actually shocks a lot of people, and a lot of people, the way the society is programmed, nothing is to be believed unless they have their own confirmation, unless they actually see or have proof of it. Because everyone lives in the how they said this and they said this is impossible to happen, or you'll need this type of surgery and you have to do this in order to live. So my story, it all started. My accident was November 30th, 2017. I was crushed in between a parked car and my work truck, which was a 60-foot crane truck, and it was like crushing a can bottle, like the disc popping, everything.
Damn.
This was actually the third near-death experience that I had. Um, the first one I was on fire. I was at work in third shift. Was literally on fire, flames. I was burned by liquid zinc, 33,000 degrees hot. I somehow escaped out of that one. The second time I was stabbed 9 times by my little brother, and I flatlined 3 times out of that. And the third time, it took this accident to happen. And now that I'm older and I'm more aware now, I have clarity on why these things happen, and these things were only revealing the truth that I experienced as a child. Like for instance, the cartoons that I grew up on, it was always science fiction and the powers and the Dragon Ball Kamehamehas and type things, and I always believed that these things were real. So, and as an adult, I grew to realize this. So, as that time happened where I was being crushed by this truck, like I was 235 pounds, I was a gym rat. Um, it's no way that I should have survived that. Now, deep down inside, like I consciously became aware and said to myself, if I have a thought of me, if I have a thought and a vision of me actually dying and being crushed in this accident, I know that it's going to be real. Now, if I alter that and believe that I really have these powers that I knew I had as a kid, maybe I have a chance. So instantly, the universe forced me through this to this portal that it's like if I would ignore this calling, it's no more chances. This was my third chance, three near-death experiences at the same time. So I felt myself die in this accident. I felt myself die, but I was aware and I heard everything going on around me. And during this time, it's like I had a choice, and the choice was, if I am offered another chance here, how would I choose to live it this time? And all this time, it felt like a good 5 or 10 minutes of me having this vision. But in the same time, I knew that I was going to die there. So um,
Wow.
I'm gonna shorten this a little bit. But my son, my oldest son, his name's Jazai, very intelligent. I know he's a star seed. He, in my vision, said, "Dad, you're going to make it out of this," as if he was right next to me. Now, the second he said that, the mirror in the car, it drug me from the back of the car all the way to the front. My whole body, knees, everything was imprinted in the car. So I can look inside the car and see my own knees in the car. And the mirror of the car was digging into my abdomen. Now I knew it was a 2-for-1 special because I knew I was going to die twice in that same situation. So the second my son said, "You're going to make it out of this," I broke that mirror. After the first 3 times I tried, it wouldn't break. The last fourth time I broke it, and the second that I broke it, he accelerated the gas pedal and he drug me farther. So if I wouldn't have broke that mirror at the time I broke it, I would all of this, the God in me would be on the ground somewhere in Philadelphia. So
That's wow. That's great.
after that, this is when it all begins. After the doctors are saying we can't really get a confirmation of what's going on internally, so therefore, we recommend spinal fusion. And I said I wasn't doing no spinal fusion. I know once you get an incision, you're compromised externally, through that way. Being as though we were already compromised by eating what we've been programmed to eat. That's how we became programmed. Gave these, I've called them intestinal alien creatures at the same time, because
The imposter. Mm-hmm.
everything that exists has that moves and that is able to control an avatar, their energy as well. So I'm gonna put that part on hold, and I'm gonna go back to this. So about 2 months from now, I'm going out at all this pain, they had to inject me with epidurals. I had 4 epidurals. They gave me 6 cortisone shots, and they gave me facet joint shots where they needles this long dug into my joints. And
Wow.
I had to sit here and I could not move. But if I moved to 16th of an inch, oh, it could have been a possibility. I could have struck a nerve, and I could have been paralyzed or something.
Yeah, that's you a walking miracle that you're not paralyzed. And wow.
And not only did it during this accident, once I was able to um somehow, like all this power is like my core power. That truck was 43,000 pounds. It should have crushed me instantly. So I tried moving the car, and I just like punched my way out. I punched my way out through the back, and when I got out, I stood there, and I stood there as if I did not just get crushed by this truck. So here I'm hearing, oh, is he dead? Is he dead? He's paralyzed. I started walking. And as if none of this just happened. And my first words after that was, "Don't no one ever get crushed by a truck, because it ain't no joke." And I laughed it off. And I continued to work a little bit. And once I came to realization that I was just in this accident, my awareness, because I realized now I was focusing on walking still. So once I came back into the reality of the illusion, the thought came through my head that you were paralyzed. So I started to walk, and I couldn't use my legs, I couldn't do nothing. I became paralyzed right there once I had that thought.
Wow.
After that, I'm gonna make this a little shorter now. I went to the hospital, X-rays, everything came up saying that they couldn't see nothing but inflammation and bruising, and I knew that was not the case because I felt everything crack. I felt the bones, the disc breaking, I felt it all. Um, so from there, let's say 3 months around there, and around December, I'm sorry, March, I started getting visions of and pictures in my head of Egypt, and it was like happening like at least twice a week. After that, I started to ignore it because I didn't really understand why I started getting random visions of Egypt back in Heliopolis. And what happened after that? I was ignoring and ignoring. Then it started coming to me as like partial dreams, as if I would go to Giza, the Great Pyramid, and I will go, and I'm not going to say exactly where. I'm not going to say exactly where it led me to. And every night, then the dream started to come to where I discovered the tomb, and in this tomb, it was a guy laying. There was a
So
guy
that
laying there with a
this
gold
was
scepter.
reoccurring dreams?
Yeah, yeah. And the more
Reoccurring
I kept
dreams.
ignoring them,
Wow.
yeah,
Okay. Continue.
and the more I started to ignore the the more intense the dream started to become, where it started to go farther and start to last for an entire dream night now. So now I wanted to pay attention because it got interesting in the dream. It kept taking me to the same place. I opened the tomb in the tomb, and well, in the grave, as I'm calling it. I'm not going to say where, but
Okay.
it's in one of those pyramids, but I know exactly where. Um, in that tomb, it was a mummy guy, pharaoh god laying there. He was not yet discovered by anybody, and he had a gold scepter that was laying there, and he had a red crystal in his forehead. I'm like, oh, what is this? This looks like a cartoon or something like that. I'm saying this is in a dream, and I know that I'm aware that this is a dream now, and I'm actually in the dream dreaming.
Okay.
And
Lucid dreaming.
yeah, so in this dream, I went to the tomb, and the red crystal in his head, it was as if it was beaming directly into my head, and I just couldn't move. And when I was in that state, I became very, very still. I became very still, and it was like visions coming to me inside of that that power that was coming from that crystal to my head. It was like stories being told to me through those. And ever since then, I started to follow and I became very, very curious. And that day, the day of May 14th, I had a choice. It's as if whatever I was doing, it's my energy started to become stagnated to where I got still, and I became in that loop in between time. That space between time where nobody understands what it really is. That's the Matrix actually explains this too. If you watch the Matrix, with I believe it's part three when he was in the train man in the Matrix, when he was stuck in that time before he can get
Right.
anywhere. That's where they call it's like a limbo. This is that space in between space where no one can explain what it is, but it's between the world of this illusion and the world of the heavens that you're about to open up within yourself. You know, now your kundalini energies, they start to move. And when that starts to move, it gives you like a tingling sensation to where
Mm-hmm.
all these urges that I used to have, they start to just disappear. It's like everything started to happen so rapidly. And I started to question myself. I started questioning myself about my own existence. What am I here for? Why am I being shown all this at this age now? I'm 34. I was 33 at the time. 35 now. I understand why I was put through this hell. This hell was literally a hell since a child until an adult. I figured ways to get around and enjoy life and try to have fun. At the same time, deep down in my conscience, I always knew that something was not right here. Like it's no reason we're all just here as people, uh, repeating the same things over and over again, making money, getting everything, living the street life, living everything. But out of everything that I've done, I always managed to, you know, escape. How can I say this? Anything negative. I never been to prison in my life. I've done everything, and I've never been to prison. Excuse me.
So
Is that Colin Kaepernick that just inboxed me? Excuse me. It looked like Colin Kaepernick or somebody just sent me a message. I see a photo with him in the first, but oh man.
no,
But
sorry, but
anyway,
you said you
after I
never
had the,
been. You said you never been. It kind of went out for a bit. You said you never been. What?
I've never been to jail.
Okay, God, I didn't hear
I've
that.
never been.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like I was into the streets. I was into the streets. I was into the lustful lifestyle. I've experienced all of these lifestyles. And the fact that I've experienced all of these lifestyles and the lifestyle as a child that I was unable to experience, due to my mom being young and didn't really understand life herself, and she was, trying to live and enjoy the lifetime of her youth as well too. So I understand this now. The friend that I had that I spoke on and said I actually had a childhood through him. I'm at his house right now, and he's like actually behind me. And
Okay.
it's a crazy thing. It's as though I created this guy. I created him, and he was there since a child until my adulthood, and he's still here until this day. And the life that I didn't want to experience because I knew some things had faults in these existence, he actually experienced that lifestyle. And being as though he
Oh
experienced that
wow.
lifestyle, I actually was able to feel um, things that he was going through. It's like I know everything that he's feeling, that he's going through while he's experiencing it. And right now, he actually brought this lifestyle, up to my existence a couple years ago. But I was into Christianity. I was born into the
Okay.
Christian world, so
So
I
would
knew
you
nothing
say,
but I was.
I got a question. So would you say that he brought it to you years ago. At the time you were like, you were caught up, you weren't really ready. But it was after that, I'll say that kind of cataclysmic event that took place when you was crushed from the accident, you started to have a series of these epiphanies, this self retrospection. And it's really interesting that you know, it came to you organically in a lucid dream, you know. I like that because it takes you out of the vicarious experience where it's a secondhand experience. And you see, in Christianity, we live based on someone else. And now I could see in the glow in you that it's more of a first-hand experience, you know. And it was after that, a lot of the things he told you kind of start to resurface and make sense. Like, you know?
Mm-hmm. So and to add into that part right there, not only did I experience the Christianity life, this one might sound far-fetched as well, but he's like my brother, cousin, friend. He experienced the Muslim religion as well. So being as though he experienced that religion, I got an idea of what it was about and how they lived that religion, because every day he was there, every night he was there. So I've experienced that religion through him. You know, he experienced other things as well. So I got the understanding of Muslim religion. I got the understanding of Christianity. So I put everything together. I'm non-religious. I'm just completely spiritual, and I don't debate religion. But it's one thing in all religions that people lack the knowledge of, understanding, being as though everyone was born into a program, right? Everyone was born into a program. So everyone goes to school. Everyone's been, pre-prepared. Everybody's been prepped for adulthood when you have to fully step into the matrix and understand it, like how Neo was created, and they took him through the process of how the matrix works. Then the illusion is as if he had to be born again. And he had to learn everything. He had to learn the new walk of the way. He had to understand a new language. And all of these things, everything that I've came in contact with, through movies, through people, I understand now it was all, in our past lives, because we're all living in a simulation as well. And we're supposed to enjoy and have fun while doing it, knowing that we're in the game. So
Right.
the way it goes, oh man, ooh, this is great. It's crazy. It's like I just get when I talk about things, something that I love to do. This was something so random. I've never expected me to be into health. I never expected any of these things, but I always knew that there was a better way of living healthy. I'm so probably that it happens a lot where I'll go off topic because everything just comes to me in a thought. And I feel as though when you get thoughts and you know that the thought serves you because it's of your true nature, then you should speak on that thought while you have that thought. So therefore, when you do not speak on thoughts like that, once you have them, when you don't act on a thought that you know serves you, you're ignoring that, possibility. Everything's, everything is everything is meant to happen. If nothing was true, nothing was real, or nothing existed for real, why are we living with thoughts? Everything that we based our life on, everything we do all day, it's always a choice. It's always a decision. It's always a thought. Everything starts with a thought before it can be externally experienced. It starts within. And all of this is where I started to get you see, it might sound like a lot of people think I read books and I get all this knowledge and stuff by reading or whatnot. You know, I really never cared for school. I dropped out 10th grade. I never really cared. It never sparked my interest. But the only subject that I cared for in school at the time was science. I don't know why. I just liked
Mm.
science because it was weird. It was weird shit going on in science at the time. So that caught interest to me. So after that, I came to realization we're in some type of a game. Mario, uh, all the Sims, all the games we grew up on as a kid, everything that we grew up with as kids, and we actually a lot of people don't realize it, but everything as a kid we experienced or we had visions of doing, we used to always say, "Oh, I wish I was this type of person. I wish I was that." We actually experienced this and do as we age. It could be a year, or it could be when you first turned 13 or something. What you once wanted to be as a child, you are more authentic you're more authentic and connected to the creator, to the source as a child. And until you around 11, until like around 11, unless it's an indigo child or something, or a starseed child that experienced these and they know they experienced them, and they just go with the flow of everything. If they're unaware of what they really are, then the resistance begins. They begin to resist things due to the urges and the feeling that they gained from what it is that they were presented to at the time. If I'm making sense here.
No, absolutely. Because how you say, we're born is almost like our geniosity is kicked out of us. That's why there's a saying that God didn't kick man out of Eden. We kicked God out of, we kicked God out of ourselves, So I have a lot of questions, man. I have a lot because this is really getting really interesting.
I
So
have nothing but time. I'm in the world of nothing but my own time. Time
right,
doesn't
right.
exist. Time don't exist to me.
And it's like a real you know organic experience that you haven't. So I have a question. You brought up intestinal like aliens. You use that phrase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now I know from my standpoint, and I think we have a similar perspective as in the truth when it comes to like food, into food being a stimulant, an addict. And the funny thing is, like, like if you look at a brother, you on the block, you look at a brother that let's say he been drunk, someone that been drinking alcohol for 30 years every day, and they haven't experienced a sober mind in such a long time. How can that person really discern reality, or how can you take anything they say serious, right? But it's the same with food. Like from the moment we birthed, it's like they just, they stuff our bellies. And it's almost like the vast majority of our people have never experienced a true sober life. Because a sober person is a spiritual person. Not a lot of people really know how to gauge into the true reality, like what you waking up to. So what's like your take on like diet and nutrition and the correspondence to, emotion or the structure of the cell? Like, what's your take on that stuff, man?
You see, on my experience of this, right? I'm gonna say this first. I've despised vegetables my entire life. I just couldn't deal with it at the time. So I'm gonna talk on the diet thing first, then I'm gonna get to the intestinal alien thing, so it'll make more sense of how it happens. So I was instantly into the junk food. I was into the meat and all this stuff. I was into the flavor. So I didn't understand at the time because we were unaware. So um, on May 14th of 2019, I was living in Baltimore, and my kids were next door to me. So they live with me and they live with their mom. So I had went food shopping. You know how we go food shopping for kids? You got like more junk food and all this than anything. And it wasn't a coincidence that the very next day I had a vision of John. You're 235, actually probably more than 235 pounds, because since that accident, I couldn't walk right. I had a fractured pelvis. I had degenerative disc disease. I had herniated disc from my L1 to my L5 and my S1 down in the sciatic area, and non-repairable nerve damage. So I was like real handicapped. My right leg became shorter than my left leg, so I had to learn to figure out a way to walk now. The vision came, John, start a diet. Don't ask, just do it. I said, okay. So June 1st, I'm going to start this diet. Then I said, well, if you're going to start at June 1st, why would you wait till June 1st if you just had the thought of starting the diet June 1st? I said, that makes sense. Then another voice said, so why not start today? Start today since you had the thought. I said, because if I start today, then by June 1st, I could decrease in some fat or whatnot. So at this time, I was still big at the time, so I thought that I was the man still. I thought I had the same type of body or whatnot. Now realizing the more weight I gained, the more pressure started to apply to my midsection, my lumbar area.
Oh yeah.
I started to decreased it, and my energy started to decrease on fun and festivities with my kids. I started to lack. I didn't want to, interact with them like that. It's as if I started to go into a state of depression now because I knew that I was incapable of doing all these things that I want to do with my kids due to this accident. I couldn't stand. I couldn't stand for 15 minutes, without it feel like somebody's crushing me from the head down. It was just so painful. I had suicidal thoughts, but I knew that all of these thoughts weren't mine because I know damn well I wouldn't kill myself. So then I started to come to realization, thought something's going on with my thought patterns right now. Something's not right because I never thought of things like this before. Like, why are these thoughts coming to me? So then I started to go, John, just eat raw veggies. I instantly stopped. I went cold turkey. I stopped eating chicken. I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating snacks. I went straight to raw veggies. That took place for about 3 weeks. Then the urges of all these things I left behind came back so strong. I said, "Oh man, what is going on here?"
Oh boy,
So
that's
one
how
day,
it works.
yeah. So one day, it was like 11:30, and the market was closed, so nobody had any fruit. I went to the 7-Eleven. The bananas and the oranges they had were rotten. So I said, "Man, they got this chicken in the window. They got this golden chicken in the window." I said, "You know what? It's only 10 pieces of small chicken. I can work it off real quick." So I grabbed it, and it's like I was just eating. And then I had a thought. I said, "John, you never eat like this. What is happening?" I sat in the parking lot of that car. I sat in my car at the parking lot, and I just had a whole vision. And this whole vision, it felt like 30 minutes, but all this took place in about 5 minutes because I lived around the corner. So I had a thought. Some entity came and breached our atmosphere because this is the only planet close enough to the sun that has a complete balance of negative and positive energy. So being as though that energy magnetic field is so strong, due to the lineups of the cosmos, and all the planets. All these planets are in rotation for a specific reason. Like right now, what everyone's experiencing, and they do not realize it, and some that realize it don't fully understand it. So this moon that we have, it started, it's basically the universe is in a new paradigm now. So the way it happens is it shifts. So now the moon is on the direct opposite of the sun. They switch places. At the same time, we have Mercury intrigate and all these things lining up. We have Mars and we have Pluto. All of these planets are lining straight up. Now, when this happens, it opens a portal. Now, about a week ago, I had posted. I tried to post a picture so everybody can see the moon, but I made a video about this moon, and the moon was so bright. And if you focus only on the moon itself, your your peripherals, when we look through our peripherals, sometimes we start to view things consciously, but we're unaware that we're doing that consciously. So what you're looking at in your peripheral, it begins to come into your center point. And when it becomes your center point, then you're actually focusing on what's in front of you. And at the same time, your third eye expands itself and is able to see what you physically cannot see, while you're looking at something. For instance, like the dreams. I'm sorry I'm keep getting off the topic as far as food. I'll get back to the food, but it's just flowing with it. So I'm just going with it.
No, it's a lot. I know how it is, man. You got a lot that I do the same thing. Continue.
So where was I? Okay, the moon right now. This moon that we're experiencing, it's forcing people to express their truth. It's forcing people to do what they are not used to doing. And it's a very emotional moon. You're going to experience lots of emotions. Certain people, certain beings that are curious of spirituality, and they know that it's more out here. you know, the indigos and the star seeds and the rainbows that were unconscious, you know, it started the conscious, the little curiosity that they had is being sparked by this moon. It's being sparked by this moon. So now a lot of the friends that I follow on my Facebook, you know, a lot of them that I didn't expect to are coming to me as if I know something that can help them, you know, overcome something. Not only did I have to recreate myself, literally, we're all shapeshifters as well. Everything that they put on TV in a science fictional way, you know, is all true. And these are subliminal messages to all of us that are able to understand. If we didn't, we would not be watching that program at the time. Nothing is a coincidence. Everything goes in synchronicity, whether you like it or not. The
Right.
side, the right side of your brain, you know, but and people don't always realize that everything is two. Every body part we have two. We have two of everything, from the brain, you know, to the foot. We got two of everything. Now, what people don't realize, now that I came to consciousness about this, you know, this actually just now came to me at this very second too. Being as though I'm aware of this, you know, a lot of people need to come to realization. The religion is nothing but a segregated cult of belief systems. If
Yes.
you know,
Right from the
everyone,
Vatican.
if everyone was of the same, you know, thing and the same God, right? If everyone was of this same God, why is everyone fighting over whose God is better? Or you can't sit one priest from every religion in the same room without them starting a debate or arguing whose God is better and why. See, if they were so into the spirituality and the godlike of their self, you know, they will understand that nothing of knowledge should be a charge. You should not make any profit from speaking, you know, the truth. Because what you're speaking of the truth, God that's in yourself is the only God. So therefore, you should not believe anything without that's outside of yourself, because it's nothing but an illusion created by the ego. The ego always take the perception of what your subconscious, you know, presents to you, and it reverses it in its own perception to have you believe in the way that it has you believe that these things really exist. It only happens in the daytime when the illusions are presented. You know, everything is not really the way it seems to be due to the light. You know, not the light isn't a bad thing, but only in the light is where you find the darkness, is where you find all the evil. But in the darkness, where you always find the light. The
Yeah.
darkness is when you're sleeping. And when you're sleeping, the ego cannot, you know, work. The ego has no idea what's going on when you're sleeping. This is why God only can speak to you through your dreams. He speaks to you through your dreams, and people need to come to realize every dream you have, you're actually alive now. You're in the real world. You see, when you're sleeping, you're still, everyone is having lucid dreams. Everybody astral projects when they dream and when they daydream in the daytime. You know, things feel
Okay, interesting. Okay, what about this, right? So you sparked a question that in me. I did once read about, because I've had lucid dreams as well, and even lucid dreams where I would actually be, it was almost like I was speaking to an ancestor or, you know, a very evolved spirit. You could say it's my higher self. And I would actually come back and get certain books or certain topics that they geared me towards. But I have a question for you. I did read one time that death, you know, how you sleep and death are like cousins, right? They're the same. And if you want to, like, because someone asked me, right, what happens when you die? But I asked them, I say, look, if
wow, this is
you,
crazy.
if me and you, for example, if you sleep, we could sleep in the same room, right? And fall asleep, you will dream something entirely different from me. You know what I mean? So it seems like it's a personal thing. So the question I asked is, when you brought up lucid dreams, I know that there are conscious people that are conscious in the dream realm. You have people that could pick up where they left off. Like they could, you see, like how when you wake up back into this realm, you have goals and stuff that you were set the day before. You remember from yesterday. And you have people that are like level 4, level 5, high level dreamers, and they're very conscious in that realm. And I did read one time, if you are conscious in that realm, when you die, you actually kind of pick up where you left off because you learned how to navigate. Like there was some correlation, right, with lucid dreaming and almost like a conscious reincarnation. You know, what's your take on that? If you know anything, you know, if you have any perspective.
You know, I know it's like I knew all the questions that you were going to ask because I was just talking to my cousin about everything that you're asking on.
Oh wow!
This right here, I love this one. I love this question here because I know how this goes. So, death, right? Let me say this. Let me say this. Have you ever seen this movie, John Carter?
No, I never seen it.
Okay, we're going to get to this. So I know about death, right? We know when we die. Well, we were programmed to believe when we die that these things will happen. You will go be judged by the God and this and that, and you'll go to hell if you sin and all that. That's not the case. You see, they know the number one thing, you know, that would spark us, that would trigger everything of fear. They instilled this with fear because they know how powerful we are. And once they present fear to the equation, you know, that altered the consciousness now. That's where the ego has become to live and exist. You see, when we die, we don't fully die. You see, we're nothing but energy force. We've just grabbed the avatar, just like the movie Avatar. When you learn and you start to go into the dream world, and you become the realization that the dream world is the real world, and you can actually do all these things in this dream world as if it was real, based off of your perception of how you view it. So you're actually creating an entire world the way you are being viewed this. Now, the way to bring the purpose of the dreams, right? The purpose of the dreams is for you to realize who you are, right? The game that we're playing here, right? Before we came here, we were aware of everything that's going to happen. All right, so this is the game, right? You know it's going to be fun because you know we cannot die. We're immortal.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
we exist. We exist and we never stop existing. When I'm gonna get to this one next in the part where when we reincarnate, I'll get to that as well too. But for the dreams, this is what I keep with me right here, and this is crazy. It's like I knew everything you were going to say. This paper right here, I have many books like this with the pen. I don't care where I am, you know. I just keep it with me because I now know in a dream, and this is a gift that we all possess, and this is magic. This is, of course, magic and alchemy. We have all of these things, but we are unaware of it. You know, we just think it's a coincidence or it's good luck, or we just that bored at the time or something. But when you come out of a dream and you can remember this dream with clarity on everything that you had, the purpose is write these dreams down. You have to write everything that you can remember down. Because once you do this, this is how you're able to go back in to the dream that you created. You're able to go back into this dream. And when you go into this dream, you're not supposed to pay attention to the dream. You see, we have dreams of being a famous person or a rich person. So we're enjoying the thrive of that moment in that dream. But we're unaware. You see, when you have lucid dreams and you're conscious, once you start to have these dreams consciously, then you become aware, okay, inside this dream, there is a puzzle piece that I have to get. I have to get this puzzle piece. And in this puzzle piece, it holds a certain record of your own memory that you need to bring to this reality. And when you bring this reality, now you're accessing the Akashic records. You see, a lot of people ask me, how do you get access to the Akashic records? And they try to do it, and they try to get access to it, and they want to use these abilities in a destructive way. This is how the government became to existence. You see, they stole this knowledge, and the way they understood it, they were taught it. They were taught this knowledge from our ancestors. They killed our ancestors off after they discovered the knowledge and they knew the power of this knowledge. So they knew if this knowledge was to resurface in this current existence, there will be no them. They won't exist because we will be in our true power, our true nature of things. So
Absolutely.
that's where the program came about. They have a program, and the program is always a virus, and that virus came about. And this is where I came into the intestinal alien. You see, back in the Egyptian times, you know, they put in the stories. First off, the myth that they speak on ancient Kemet and Heliopolis, all these ancient times of the Egyptian gods, they say it's a myth for one. For those that believe that's a myth, how dare you insult your own creation and where you were created from? First off, if it was a myth, why could everyone go to Egypt right now and lay their own physical eyes and touch these hands on these pyramids that's still there millions of years ago? Do you think it's a coincidence that you have 3 identical pyramids, different shapes? You look at the sky directly above these pyramids, you will see the Orion's belt. You will see the stars. And if you were in space over top of these stars, looking directly down, you will see that that entire layout of this Egyptian pyramid, you know, all these stars are perfect in perfect synchronicity, and it all lines up. Now, when you sit there and you look at the stars, you start to see patterns. You start to see different shapes of things. You know, I started to see eagle at a point in time, and I have everything documented. I have everything that I've experienced on phone. I write everything down, and I thought I was crazy. I started to think I was crazy. You know, I started to start, and this is where they say this in the Bible. You will when you die, you will get judged, right? This is the fear that they're putting into you. Now, if the pastors understood what death really is, then why aren't these pastors preaching on how to live, not survive? Everybody's living for survival right now. Everybody's living for survival right now. Everybody believes that they need a job because they need the money to do this or pay the bill or do something. You see, I've been working my entire life. You know, I came to the idea and the realization that in this time of me, you know, helping these people build their empire, working, getting all this money, thinking I need it, I'm not happy of knowing none of this. You know, I don't care for none of this. This drains our energy. And you see, now that as I became conscious, and it might sound crazy, but I have only been into this existence of who I am now since May 14th of last year. It hasn't even been 9 months yet. Well,
and you actually really I mean, you excelling, because it's amazing. And I do like how you just to bring up when you said the pastors don't really get into the principalities of how to live, because you learn how to live, you learn how to conserve your energy. It seems like, you know, when you the horns on the demon, that represents you like breaking the loop, you know, where you're constantly, you know, you're in lust, you're in, and you know, our brothers and sisters are stuck in survival.
Oh man.
The chase of the dollar is what really keeps us here. You don't have time to think of like, oh, the dream realm is the real world. Because, and even the stuff you talking, people are looking like, bro, like, I gotta go work, man. I gotta pay my bills. And it's like that consciousness right there, you realize that we work for a lot of things we don't need, like you said, you know, and create suffering is, we almost came professional at creating suffering. Like we're the greatest sorcerers at creating suffering. And from the indoctrination camps, since we, you know, these education institutions that are actually indoctrination camps, like you said, they've instilled so much fear and trauma into us, and how this impresses on our genetics. We have this over exaggerated expression of the third dimension. And we forgot that it's a game. And now the game has become real life, you see? And just to kind of piggyback more on what you said, it's like when you learn how to live, you don't die, you know? You don't die in the way that they have us programmed, you know what I mean? So I do want you to touch on the, you know, you were gonna bring up like reincarnation, like what's your take on energy conservation now? We're talking about, because you know, monks do say that the only thing you take with you is your chi energy, your high level of chi, your spiritual energy, your, you know, as you hold in your semen, your sperm, semen retention. And but it's not just that, it's the ability to move it up and down, you know what I mean, and kind of distribute it through the body. Is there some type of connection with your daily ritual, right? And can it affect the some type of like incarnation? Like, can you consciously be conscious into the next womb? You know, like, I'm sorry, like I trying to, like, you have so much and I want to try to extract out, you know, like it's just amazing. Just continue. What you think of that, man?
Okay, this is great. This is great because it's like I prepared. I didn't even have to prepare for this, but I know what you're saying. I know what you're going to ask. So, man, okay, we know that the ka is the soul and the chi is all of these. All of these names mean the same thing. It's just different. It's just a different language, you know. But it all means the same thing. Ka, uh, uh,
Yeah,
chi.
that's
You
what
have your
the Egyptians can command, call it ka, the soul.
and you and actually this is great. This is great right here. Someone had messaged me yesterday on a video that I had did last, and they wanted me to talk on uh, the yin and the yang and all of that. This is what they wanted me to talk on. So you just brought that up. So the energy part, you see, they have so many names of them for them, and we call them so many things like Shiva, Shakti. We have
Yes.
we have all of these names of them, the Kundalini. These are all the same thing. This is all dealing with energy here now, and this energy is only sparked once you're able to cleanse your chakras. And once you become aware that you have chakras and the purpose of these chakras, this is the curiosity. You're starting to awaken this Kundalini energy now because it knows that it's coming. It knows that it's coming to existence now. So now, in order for it to exist in this physical, it has to present itself. And when it presents itself, it's like the boss at the end of a game where you got to beat the boss and you know the boss coming because he's coming stepping all hard. But the
Mm-hmm.
Kundalini comes with a sensational feeling. It comes with a sensational feeling to where, man, I was in this dream, and in this dream, it felt so real, I didn't want to come out of it. So now curiosity becomes greater now. And now the Kundalini is presenting itself. You know what? If I can convince this person to always want, look at that, I see 5 ones right there. This is crazy. Pay that no mind. I just do that. I just start seeing numbers and things randomly. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
you start to get these certain energy feeling. And what it does is um this Kundalini is so intelligent. And what it is, what the Kundalini snake represents, you know, in the Bible, what they recreated it to be understood as if the serpent is the bad guy. The serpent was a devil. The serpent spoke to them in their ear and said, "Eat from the fruit, and you will live." So now the fear came about. Okay, they done Adam and Eve done ate. She done made Adam eat from the tree, and now all this corruption and all of these things started to happen. No, see, this is what the intestinal aliens perceive the ego to understand in this way, if that made sense here. So what it does when I'm gonna say this real quick because it keeps coming to me. When you eat food, this is where the intestinal aliens come from. The only way that the God in you, the subconscious, could be compromised is when through the mouth. You have all these other exit points, but only one thing can be ingested, and that's through the mouth. So they present themselves as food. It's like this is our avatar for this realm, right? So being as though we're energy force, and the only way that we can have a physical experience, and the only way that we can actually live and feel all of these things and emotions that we're actually experiencing is through this physical body. And I call the physical body the main chakra. You see, they say we have 7 or whatnot, but I beg to differ, because in order for all of these 7 chakras to work, actually 114 that we have internally, but we're aware of the main 7. And you know, main 3 that only the main 3 are the root chakra, your sacral, your solar plexus, because that's the flame. That's the flame right there. And only heat can rise. So when that heat rise, you know, your kundalini rise. When your kundalini rise, your energy rises. And you actually start to feel your body change. You're becoming a shapeshifter now. Once your kundalini starts to rise, then you become aware that, you know what, I realize now they made beds. Beds are so comfortable and it feels good. But regardless how comfortable and how much that bed costs, you're going to wake up with a sore back. You're going to wake up with something feeling disoriented, out of proportion. You're going to feel that. So therefore, it can only be that your muscles is what's relaxing. Your muscles are going to sleep. So being as though your muscles are relaxing and going to sleep, your exoskeleton, it cannot rest. So therefore, it's literally levitating in your muscles, and your muscles is what's holding your skeleton up, you know, and it's getting you off of balance. Where did Adam and Eve and them sleep when they existed? They slept in nature. They sleep in nature. Your spine is the gateway to the heavens. You see, enlightenment, all of these things exist with inside when you come to realize that energy is the main thing. You see, celibacy plays the biggest role in it. You see, I haven't been in a relationship. I haven't been in a relationship since my boy's mom was like 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago. You see, and I had 2 relationships out of my life. I came to realize, okay, I'm starting to understand things. Out of nowhere, I'm starting to have clarity. So once I became celibate, and the accident that I had 2 years ago caused me to it caused me to become celibate, right? So then as though I became celibate, and I was forced to not have to deal with these urges because I was a cripple at the time. I was handicapped and my nerves were bad, which means I didn't work down there, you know. So I had to learn to deal with myself. I had to learn to, what if I couldn't do this, or no, what if I couldn't fornicate anymore? Then how would it go? How would I feel? Like, how could I live? How could men live without having sex? You know, because they made that a number one thing for us, as if we need to have this to express an emotion or a feeling or whatnot. But the way it goes is women play a big role. The women play the biggest role in this entire existence of mankind, because the way that we perceive women to be is only how you would perceive yourself to be if you were the woman. So therefore, you're only looking for yourself externally, right? So when you see someone or you find a girl, oh, she's nice. I would play. You instantly know everything you would do to her. Instantly. You're undressing her with your mind. You're creating her in your own, through your perception. So now you're manifesting what you created within externally now. So now you're actually feeling and experiencing what you created through your significant other now. So now the question lies, how are you going to treat her? How you treat her determines how you feel about yourself. So when you feel about yourself in this certain emotional state that you're experiencing with your significant other, I came to realization that you have to work on that part alone within yourself. You see,
Yes.
we have to learn how to unlock our own chakras. We know this already. This is the game we're playing. You have to become conscious in order to live. You have to realize the only way to live is in the dream world. So the way this goes is, you, this is the fundamental parts of this knowledge is realizing that everything that you dream about, everything that you think, you're able to bring that to your existence. If you understood why we have pen and paper, when you, this is what we were, it was presented to us as witchcraft, as sorcery, as all of these things of the devil. But I'm going to get back to, see, I got so many, oh man, this is great. I can live it. And this right here is how a breatharian eats. This is how we cultivate energy. You see, I'm explaining on that too. You see, I can, oh man.
Wait, so you say a breatharian eat, you brought up the dream realm, because now when you brought up the dream realm, you saying a breatharian eats from the dream realm? That's what you said?
Oh man, this is great. My experience of this, my experience, see, I understand how the Bible speaks of it. All these books speak of the same enlightenment, right? But all of these different people of these books speak of the same thing in a different way. The context of it is different now, because it's now being spoken through their perception of experience. They had it that way. So now John, Matthew, Peter, Mark, all these people in the Bible that came into enlightenment, they found and discovered the light body. You see, everything that we're all dealing with, we're all having the same experiences. We're all having the same experiences as these characters of these books, but in our own way. And in our own way is the only way we understand it, but we don't fully understand this because we were taught to believe that someone's going to come out of the sky. We were told that if you don't do this, you were going to go to hell and burn. And I spoke on this yesterday. Now, if that were true, if all of this that we're doing, and if it's good or if it's bad, we're going to go to heaven and we're going to go to hell, right? So ask yourself, if I was to die and go to heaven or hell, what would it be like? So when you ask yourself these questions, you're actually creating this world of existence. Now you're going to experience the hell that you're going to experience by the question that you just asked. What would my hell be like? But you don't realize you're actually living in the hell that you create. All the pain, the depression, the suicidal thoughts, all these emotions that make you not want to exist, but you know deep down inside you want to exist, because you know if you die, you're going to miss out on all these things that you were once doing before. And nobody wants that. Now, when you come to realization that when you die, your energy lingers around. It never dies. The body died. This physical body, they call it the ba in ancient, and you got it's all the same thing. But the body dies, but the energy lives, right? So this is why when someone or the body dies, the knowledge that they created it to be in their image was, you got to go to the morgue now. You know, we're going to take all of your intestines out, because this is how everything that they do during death, it took place in ancient Egyptian. You see, and the main gods knew of this right here. The main gods knew that when you die, you don't die. When you, let me just say it this way. And back on the movie John Carter, I said I was going to bring back up. Here's the time. So John Carter, in this movie, he discovered a dream within a dream of another reality existence on the red planet Mars, right? And it was called in this movie Banquet or something like that. So when he did this certain chant, it would take him into the astral plane, and it would take him to the reality of Mars, right? So when he's able to do that, he's able to go, now he's in a lucid dream into the astral plane now. So now he's traveling in the whole dimension into his future. And he's going into that future over there because he now knows that he exists in another planet. We all exist on all these planets, all these little asteroids and the comets and the stars. We all exist on these things, right? So in the astral plane, you're able to revisit. He was able to go into Mars. In this reality of existence he was in, which is the current 3D and the illusion, his wife died, right? So when she died, she didn't exist here, but he knew she still had to exist because the energy that he was feeling was as if she was right next to him. And this is the case with us right now.
Mm-hmm.
When someone dies that's close to us, they pass away, they are right next to us. These are our ancestors assisting us in our travels. You ever walk somewhere where you just sit there, and when you sit there, you're in a relaxed state to where you'll hear a certain frequency pitch, and you'll know you'll just jump like, what is that? It'd be like a high pitched frequency, and you'll hear it, and it sound like your ear probably like clogged up or something, and you'll hear it fade away, and you'll look around, and you'll be like, you ain't hear that noise or something like that, but only you were able to hear that. When you understand how energy works and that your ancestors are there assisting us, and that's what they call in the books, they're calling them the guided, the guardian angels. These are the ancestors of the energy that existed, that created you based off of their perceptions. Now, the objective of this game is to go and discover, come into enlightenment. The way to enlightenment, it all starts with the physical body. This is my experience. I don't care what nobody say. If I got like this in 9 months, it's possible with anybody. We're all connected the same way. So
I've come to know that as true as well. When you're talking about the chakras, a lot of our energy is kind of chained to the solar plexus area down at the root chakra. So I absolutely right. Continue.
And just like yesterday, me and my cousin, he brought something up to my attention about the cartoon. Remember the cartoon Avatar with Aang, the little kid with the blue arrow coming down?
Yeah, perfect cartoon.
It's not a coincidence that we grew up on that. That cartoon it's subliminally showing us how to unblock our chakras. And they actually break it down. And all these years I used to watch that, and I never really seen that until he showed me that yesterday. It shows you how it all starts. Blockage, you have blockage, and it all starts from the root. So once that root starts to open up, you start to get this different feeling of energy, going up. And the way to spark that, the way to get that to happen is you have to begin to question your own existence. You have to begin to question yourself. You have to depart ways with the physical world. Everything that you accumulate and that you acquire along this journey, a car, house, money, all of these things, you have to come to realization that it's an illusion. It's an illusion created by the Maya to have you believe that this is the way of living. Because the way that these entities can only live and feel is through us. This is the intestinal aliens I'm talking on now. They were compromised. They were compromised by food. So when we eat them, that basically the food was their spaceship to get to us. You see, so then as though able to. This is why we have to pay attention to things around us and how construction and stuff is being built around us as well, because they start from the outside. They configure the exterior version in the way that they're creating their blueprint from the outside. So they know if they present, oh, look at this golden steakhouse from the outback. You can come get this big 8-pound steak for $3.99, and then it served a purpose. So, man, this sounds great. Let's go get it. Same with Popeyes. Oh man, it happened big time. It was so powerful with that Popeyes chicken. That Popeyes chicken, that entity was so powerful. I've never seen nothing like that. You have all these black people in line for hours for a piece of damn chicken that they could have sold you for $20, and there was kids selling them for $20 on the side, and they wanted them so bad due to the taste. Just like in the Matrix, in the part where when Neo came and he had that first bowl of that soup that he had, and Mouse said, you know what? You can perceive it to whatever you desire it to be. You see, I tasted to be toasted wheat. I don't know what toasted wheat really tastes like, but I know in my mind, toasted wheat tastes like this. This is why when you eat a steak and it tastes so either salty or it has a certain flavor that suits your taste buds, is because that's a strong taste. So that alien needs that. So once it gets that, it's programmed. Oh yeah, now we're gonna present them and have them believe that when you eat steak, you're gonna get your protein because it came from an animal. But what is lacking is you're actually killing yourself off too. The alien, I mean the animals. We're connected to the animals just as well as we're connected to Mother Nature. You see, God. No one knows who God is. No one knows if it's a man or if it's a woman. This is where the yin and the yang and all of these things come in. All of these energies, you know, let me say it this way. Your left brain, your right brain. You know, we have two hearts as well too. A lot of people probably don't realize that we have two hearts, two heartbeats, and you can tell. You can tell. You see, I discovered this along since this journey of losing weight too. So when you're laying down on your back, right, on I don't own a bed. I don't sleep on the bed. I sleep on the floor. And if I'm on the couch or something, I'll sleep sitting up. You know, but the floor, your spine has to always stay erect. And the way that you're supposed to start to get it back into alignment, you know, getting your spine back to its natural state of existing, you'll start to you know get certain knowledge of certain things. And so a lot of people don't understand that the way that you exist is self-knowledge is the only way to our existence. You shouldn't believe in anything that's not yourself. Because if you believe in anything that's outside of yourself, you're believing in an illusion world. You believe that something exists there. And that's what keeps you bounded. And that's why you have to unblock that root chakra. That root chakra, it plays a part in all of this.
Yes.
You see, you have the negative and the positive energy. You see, I've learned that, you see, we believe that we have to get rid of all this negativity. We believe that if I get rid of the negativity, things will be better. No. You see, this is all curiosity here. This is curiosity. You're starting to be curious. Okay, there is a way, you know, for things to be different. There is a way that, you know, life can exist in a better way in the creation. Now, let me just say this right here. God only did one thing for us. And I am so very grateful for this because that's all I needed to know. He created us in his likeness and his image, which means he lives within us. His holy temple is our own first chakra, which is the holy temple, the physical body, because only God can live within you through this body. You see, and you have access to this. And it even says it in the books. No one can enter the kingdom of God. No one can enter the heavens, you know, until you are in perfect harmony. You have to be in balance with everything. Your negative has to eat it with your positive. How do you think Nikola Tesla and Einstein, them guys, discovered how to balance a battery and how to have the exact amount of what you call the ions and things and these light bulbs in order for it to work perfectly? They understood balance. And the books that they speak on is their experience on how they became into enlightenment. You see, we have to stay in balance with our negative and positive. That's the yin and the yang, is negative and positive. Once that becomes equal, it will spark it. Oh man. You remember the game Street Fighter? Like Super Street Fighter?
Yeah.
Now you remember the character Seth, the one that had all these powers and all these different abilities of everybody else? And he had that ball in his stomach of the Chinese symbol, and he had the portal. Seth in that game is basically what we are. We're able to cultivate all these energies. We're able to incarnate other entities of our ancestors. You see, our ancestors are the reason why they call them guardian angels, but the reason why our ancestors are always assisting us is because we're able to, they can live through us while we're consciously alive. And the way it goes is you allow these entities to enter your body. This is why they call them spirits. It's like you're sparing your body for a certain time. You're sparing your body to the entities that you welcomed in. You know, so whatever it is that you're supposed to know or learn, they're going to instill this program into you now. And this is how we elevate our consciousness. This is how we become, conscious.
And it's like, you know, like you, that archetype, you become the living example of that archetype. And it's, you know, man, sorry, man, I have more questions, man.
I have all the time.
Yeah, okay, so, oh man, I had a question in my head, and you really sparking a lot in me, man. It's really interesting. It's really, like, you really bringing me back to, you know, just the dream realm, and just having an understanding of how, you know, you have a bunch of chakras, but really you really have one. You know, it's like we kind of compartmentalize and put labels on, you know, different things, so we can kind of have a human understanding, right? But so let me ask you this, brother. We know that, okay, well, the energy could be trapped down at the solar plexus, is chained. What's your take on, like, when you talk about cultivation? And again, you brought up how breatharians like eat, right? Now, I saw, I know a brother, you know, here in Muhammad's not going to say his name. He's not around like that, but, you know, he's a breatharian. And, you know, I mean,
Yep, there, Diamond. Come on.
when he went a while without, you know, when you go on a dry fast without actually introducing the substance into the avatar, he talked about how the true work actually starts to take place. It's almost like when we ingest something into our mouth, that changes the whole chemistry and nature of the body, and that there's an actual intention that the universe, you could say the cosmos, you could say the earth, but it's almost like this soup of primordial energy, right? I'm trying to break it down, but there's a certain original intention that's taken place, that our bodies are almost trying to build us back to this perfection. And when you kind of look at people, it's almost like they're kind of sticking themselves with a needle. And, you know, we keep putting ourselves in this perpetual trap. It's like the average human being here feels trapped, right? And it's amazing how you kind of went through that experience. And it's like it catapults you to this realm. Like, I've been in this for years, bro. And it's almost like you catapulted in like 2 years from 2017 to now to have the same type of understanding. It's really blowing my mind, you know? So I know I kind of, you know, I'm not trying to go all over the place, but when you,
I'm with you.
what's your, when to cultivate energy, what does that like mean to you? Because, you know, we're brought up to waste energy, and cultivating energy here while we on earth. Does what's your take on that? What does that mean to you, like, to cultivate energy, bro?
I was waiting for this question, right? I was waiting for this one. So
Cool, man. We kind of it's good. I kind of feeling you out, and I just feel like this is important to ask you, you know, because it's big to me in cultivation, but I really want to hear your take on it, because you sparking some things in me.
it is, right? So being as though I just recently stepped into the breatharian life, right? I'm still teaching myself in the same process. I went a week straight, I jumped right into it. I dove deep like Ralph Smart did with the cat down the road. And I discovered that we can live without food and water for a week. And at the same time, when you're in the dry fast, your body is regenerating itself to its natural state. Like right now, what's happening with the world. She's resetting herself now. This is what global warming is. This is why everyone knows what's going on. Everyone is trying to get out of here by these people trying to make spaceships to go out of space, and they know they can't. What that is a subliminal message stating that, man, a lot of people are becoming aware and conscious of what's really going on. So therefore, we have to leave these bodies before we become compromised. And the way that happens is when you go to a dry fast, right? Just like when someone's very sick and they can't eat anything, even soup, they don't even want to drink nothing. And that's because the body is forcing itself. The God in you is forcing the body to go into a regeneration state. It's going to take at least 3 days or 4 days or something to where you ain't going to eat nothing. Just like a dog in a closet for a couple of days and won't eat, and then come right back out as if nothing happened. You see, And this is all taking place because of food. This is how it started. Now, I just broke my fast like 2 days ago, or a couple days ago. Now, I keep everything honest. I tell everything how it is, because I present my experience with those that are following me. You know, because people think, people going to believe and have their own perceptions, regardless of how you present it to be. But people would think, I well, behind closed doors, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. But in the open around people, you know, I'm this type of person. But actions is what's karma. Karma means action. What you do is going to present itself in the real world, in the reality too. You see, my staff here, it goes everywhere I go. In Walmart, it goes to the gas station, it goes to the market, it stays with me. You see, I understand this right here, being as though this is wood, right? I took the rubber off of it at the bottom because when this is in contact with the earth feeds you knowledge, right? This is how everything goes. The earth is another Akashic record. This is the second Akashic record. The earth, Mother Earth herself, has all knowledge of all things that ever existed from the beginning of time. And the way that you understand that is when you eat veggies and you eat fruit and these raw foods, it's only being grown from the earth, right? So therefore, all the knowledge and the minerals and things that comes from the earth, it allows it from the sun that gives it the vitamins and the minerals and and the synthesis, from the microcosmic energies into this fruit and veggies. You're getting information from all three Akashic records. You're getting information from the space itself. The universe is an Akashic record. Mother Earth itself is an Akashic record. All of this is knowledge. And the Akashic records, the main Akashic record lies within ourselves. We are gods and goddesses. And we come to realize all of these things. I'm gonna get back to this right here, like the Egyptian gods, how they stored their energy, how they lived without food because they didn't need food to live, right? They knew synthesis was going to come in creation. Protein is in the grass and in the green. Everything green is where your protein lies. Why do they think they're getting protein from steak? Because that cow tore like 3 pounds of hay up. All the grass that it's eating is the protein that's being laid into the animal. Because every 33 days, our body regenerates new cells based off of what we consume, and it reshapes our body. And the pain, the agony that the animal experienced through its entire existence until its death, you now experience these things that the animal experienced, because what you eat becomes you, but it cannot be you. And that means your actions, your karma. You have to know what's your karma. See, people don't realize, even when you interfere with something that a friend or somebody's going through, if your sister or somebody going through something and you know she's about to get a beating and you interfere with that, you are now taking over the karma that she was having. That is her hell that she's experiencing. So being as though we are all empaths and we all have the abilities to exist and incarnate ourselves in other people's bodies, we're able to do this. And to understand that, I'm gonna say this right here. When people consume alcohol, right? When people consume alcohol, I forget the god's name, but hey, cuz, what's his name, cuz? Wu, the god Wu. He was a drunk, and he started to create man in his image while he's drunk, and this is where these people came from. This is where these other creatures and people came from, of different colors or whatnot. But it's not all about that. You see, people get it confused with racism and all these things, and they think that white people or Caucasian or of something different or whatnot. But you actually, if you understood how things went, if you had balance in yourself, you would understand that God himself is a man and a woman. As a transgender, this is where the balance comes in. This is where the masculine and feminine comes in. This is why some women, they consider them dykes or whatnot. They have more masculinity in them than the feminine side, right? That's because the energy from that masculinity that took over it overpowered their intellect. And it was able to do that. And now the ego has formed this person now based off of what it was presented to. And the masculine of that, is now revealing itself. You see, this is how when people speak of their truth, there's no wrong with that. People call them homosexuality. It's nothing about that. When you get the balance and understanding into that, this is where chakras, all these chakras play a part. This is how you unblock your chakras. You have to realize these things. And when you realize that there is no gender, everything is one. Everything has two, but it all equals to be one.
Right. It's It's the one, and how they say design denotes function. Like, oh man, sorry, I was just gonna ask him something. You continue. It'll come back to me. Continue.
So when you come to realize that God is man and woman, masculine and feminine, you find balance in your own masculine and your feminine part. And you see, and a lot of men don't realize it, but their perception of it is gay or homosexuality. That's because that was presented and created by these other entities to control and program us. Because they only can live through us with our energy, because they are unable to experience love. They are unable to experience love. So they want to experience all these other things. All these other amenities that our avatar acquires. They're able to control us and use these, but it's one thing that they lack: the knowledge of how to love and what love really is. And when you come to realization that when you love everything, you love animals, you love the trees, you love everybody. You see, I'm celibate 2 years now in February.
Wow.
In between time, since my accident, I've tried, things. I've tried to see if I still work, but I don't count no men because I didn't care for it. It's like I no longer had that urge or the sensation for that anymore. So like I don't care about that. And now I know that in the lifestyle of a breatharian, you shouldn't want a relationship. I'm saying that I'm speaking on myself. I don't want a relationship because I know it's going to cause blockage in my chakras. I know it's going to take me off of my divine path. I know all of this because I understand the intentions of women. I understand the purpose of them. I understand how and why they survive off of men. A woman is more powerful than a man, but men don't realize it. Men just believe because they're a man, they hold the power. They hold this. They're in control of everything, but that's not the case. Without your feminine. Go ahead.
It's deep because, that's why they say that the breatharian path is almost like for an elder, right? Someone that's like saturated with the human experience, because it's different where when you're celibate and you just don't have the desire, or if you're trying to be celibate and still enjoy sex. You see, it's like with me, like we just celebrated my father's 80th birthday, and free drinks and stuff. I don't drink, but it's like, it's different from, okay, I don't drink because it's bad for me, but I really want to drink. And it's like you kind of have this resistance, but it's when you lose desire. So when people would see these yogis, a average person would think like, man, they're denying themselves of all the pleasures of life. It's not, they don't, but in their mind, their world, they don't feel like they're denying themselves of something. It no longer serves a purpose. So stuff like a relationship, and I'm currently in a relationship. So, she actually just walked out. She just left. So I'm currently in a relationship. So I can say, brother, I do agree with you, because I'm like, there's a part of me, because I'm into cultivation. I do a qigong, falun gong, like exercise.
I'm sorry real quick, but I just had to say this while it just came to me. As you were saying that, to read the purpose for sex, right? People don't really understand what sex really is and why it was created in the first place.
Oh, I'm bugged.
You see, people believe, oh man, it gives a great sensation, a great feeling. This go, oh man, but they lack the knowledge and understanding that this is what's going on. You're actually you're completing a ritual here. You see, they're doing rituals during sex. Sex is a mantra. This is why when they have sex, they're moaning. They're doing different levels of frequencies in the moan. This is what your mantra. This is man. You're exchanging energies. So whoever she is or whoever he is, whatever that person is experiencing in their hell, and if they even have a heaven in them, or whatever it is that they
Don't
have,
follow me up here.
that energy is only coming into you. And now she's drained you from all your positive energy. Women are so powerful, and men have no, and the thing about it is, women don't even realize what they're capable of doing. This is why a woman will hunt for the man that she desires due to that energy field that's going to that. You see, your heart, everything starts right there. You see, we say that the main three chakras are your sacral, your solar plexus, and your root chakra, because that's the flame and that's where the energy rises. But through my perception of this, I'm vouching for the heart. I'm vouching for the heart because without love, none of these chakras would line up. Nothing, it would be so much unbalance and blockage and so much.
Yes. And just to kind of piggyback exactly like what you said, someone can do the qigong cultivation, the tai chi or whatever, but if they do not cultivate character, you see, character cultivation, and you could literally waste your whole time. That's why they say that the quickest way to even raise your frequency is also the unconditional love you have for humanity, the unconditional service work you have for self, for humanity, for the people around you. And but a lot of people would think, let me just kind of do the cultivation, let me do the diet thing, but it's a character, even as simple as, and not just you trying to be kind to everyone, but it's mainly in how you treat yourself and respect the sacred part of you that lives in the temple. That's the real character, because you can't, I mean, the minute you start to learn how to stop self-abuse, see, that's how you wake up the supernatural. You first learn how do I stop abusing myself? Because everything that I've been taught is self-destructive, everything, you see? So now you kind of peel through the layers of your own illusions, of what you think that of when a want becomes a need. You also change the mind of the cells. You also change the avatar. The avatar changes. It's like a mirror, an animate force. It's alive, but it's like an animate force that kind of reflects your intention, or how, like you say, your self-knowledge is you're everything that you need, So definitely, when it comes to character cultivation, the main thing is the integrity of what you do behind those closed doors. You out in the bush when no one around. That's you. That's your life. You know what I mean? You could sit here. We could talk. We could intrigue people. We could inspire, but not until you have that character and that integrity. And that's something that it's like a marathon. You gotta literally, it could be based on maybe a past karmic debt, trauma that been passed on to you.
That's how it always starts. That's how it starts. It always starts with a trauma. And the way it presents itself is then as though you're already experiencing the hell that you're having. Now, the Bible and books even speak of this part. The thing is, I never read the Bible. I just read like the last 3 pages of Revelation, but I never read the Bible. But being that I was raised into the Christian home, I always was hearing all this and that. And the fact that your subconscious never forgets anything, it records everything. The Akashic records. God writes everything down. The Akashic records, is yourself. And when you learn that you are the Akashic records and you can access it at will whenever you want, man, like so great. And the fact that, oh man, oh man.
Right. So the Akashic records, how you said that, it's almost like this vessel is so a particular idea or thought could exteriorize and be experienced through you. You know,
Exactly.
that's why they say everything that has been experienced on earth for the trillions of years, you know, we could embody. And because it is you, it's like we're so big, we can't fit everything into a body, you know? So when you make
Exactly.
a choice, you actually, that's why they say there's no such thing as higher and lower self. There's only what you choose to experience of the one absolute.
Exactly.
Oh,
See,
this is beautiful. Wow.
but back to the breatharian, you see, oh man,
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes,
tell you,
the Breatharian.
I'm gonna tell you how I came.
Brother, did you have like, you know, did you go through heavy detoxifications? Because, you know,
I'm actually talking on that right now. That's what I'm about to start right here.
oh, okay,
So,
right.
so before I started this, right, May 14th was the day that I said I was going to stop. I went cold turkey and I stopped eating everything. Within 30 days, I came down from 235 to 195. I said, wow, I got so much energy now. I started going back I started having all that energy back at the gym. And at the same time, I learned that during this detox, what fruit does, what raw veggies do. Like a lot of people want to try to lose weight and burn fat fast, so they take certain supplements. I've experienced all that lifestyle as well. I took Lipo-6, all this stuff, like the pills and stuff to try to burn the fat, but nothing worked. Nothing ever worked. So then I kind of realized the fat can be burned. What burns the fat? Wow. Jalapeno, anything of hot peppers, all of these things, it detoxifies and it extracts the toxins that the red meat leaves behind to clog the natural airways that causes diabetes. You see, sugar doesn't cause diabetes, it's the red meat. You see, and when people realize what only causes sicknesses, they'll realize that it's in the food. You see, and the disease, all these things, everything is curable. But it's always one thing that the doctor says they cannot cure, which is cancer and diabetes. Why? Because it's a program that only had the technology and machines to create certain substance pills and whatnot, just to make the body feel comfortable. It's an illusion. It's a fucking illusion. I know this. I've experienced it. I was on machines that had to pull my spine apart 3 centimeters just to suck the hernia back into my spine.
Ooh.
Like I've experienced all these shots and everything, and I really felt like I was sitting there and just like I couldn't move. Like I couldn't move. I could have became paralyzed, but I lost all that fat. Now, all the way until this time, now this present day, man, I look like the daggone Batman action figure I used to have when I was a kid. You see, I used to always want this type of body, and I'm saying, wow. So this is what 118 pounds feels like. So I'm gonna speak on the urges that a breatharian gets in the beginning stages. You see, I'm keeping everything authentic. You know, I went into it for a week straight. I just came out of it a couple of days ago. Now, I also came into realization too. I have to have fun along the way. I cannot continue to be fully serious about this. You see, it might seem like I'm real serious about this, but I'm not. It's like it's to the point where it's like I know what's going on here. And there's not a coincidence that I was forced into this existence, you know, randomly. You know, the Bible even says, once you start to step in the kingdom of God, you will begin to be judged. It even says when you die and before you can get into heaven, you're going to be judged. What this fully means is what will judge you is you will be judged by your heart. You are the judge of yourself. When you question yourself, everything that you have, that you're unbalanced with, everything that you need work on, it's presenting itself due to your actions. You see, what you act out is what you're experiencing internally. Now, once you realize that you're experiencing these things for this specific reason, to learn to let go is what it's trying to present to you. You have to let go. Now, let me say this. Before I actually got this far, you know, like with all these random followers and people out of nowhere and strangers and, you know, like, and people and a guy who offered me to be in this video, I said, wow, this is crazy. You know, it's amazing when you realize. It's amazing when you realize you are the creator of your entire existence. What you create inside, what you really desire, only of your heart's true purpose will you manifest. You see, people screw the context of it and they'll switch it around and they'll use these abilities for the wrong reasons. You see, they'll abuse the powers that they have. And that's because some people can learn. And that's why a lot of people ask me, I'm starting to get questions, how do they access the Akashic records? And some things you just can't explain. But the way to explain it is like how I did in this video. I just gave full access to it, all three of them. Now, that's a subliminal thing. If they're unable to get that key that I just gave them, it's no way that you will have to do it yourself. Everything you experience, this is why I don't question anything. You see, I found my own mentors along my journey. You see, I've learned it, the way it came about. I ran into Atum El-Amin. I'm gonna talk on that name, where I got that name from too. So that's Atum El-Amin. You see, when I was forced into this lifestyle after the accident, it's like I instantly, all of these things came about and I came to him first. Well, that he came to me because inside I wanted nothing but full health or whatnot. And I knew it had to be more than a vegan and an alkaline lifestyle. And I also wanted to come to this because I started to feel, you know, the energies and the plants talk to us. So being as though I know that this is nothing but energy, you know, this is a living entity in these plants here. So when we eat in these plants, we're only killing it. We're killing that.
It's still parasitic. You see, it's still parasitic.
It's just like it's basically like a cannibal still, even if it's not meat, but it's still there, but you're still eating something that's alive.
Right, brother.
So when you're eating it, I just had to say, like, man, you know what? He can feel that too. He can feel, even if it was 3 days after he was pulled from the tree, he can still feel that. You see, now, when I realized, dang, that's nothing but energy too, I don't want to kill nothing. I don't want to hurt nothing. I can't even kill a bug. You know, I don't do none of these things because everything is connected. I spoke to a fly before, guy. It sounds far-fetched, but in the beginning part, when I first came into the breatharium, I had one of these candle jars. I had like one of these candle jars here, but you know, I used to spit like a little bit in one of them before I discovered how to keep the brain hydrated, experiencing the breatharian lifestyle. You see, all of this knowledge is just coming to me without me reading a book or none of this. You see, the way to keep hydrated, the body produces its own liquids, right? So when it produces its own liquids and you come to realization what the purpose of the roof of our mouth is for, I know a lot of people never question that. Like, we just think it's just the roof of our mouth, but no one knows why it's like the shape of an upside down spoon. So I came to realization, wow, I get it. So all this saliva that your body is building up, you sit it and you rest your tongue at the roof of your mouth, and your saliva would sit there. And this is how you keep the brain hydrated. And when you cultivate your energies, when you don't cut your hair, when you don't clip your nails, when you don't have intercourse, when you don't do anything to yourself, all these natural feelings, it all builds up inside. Now, man, when that state of blissfulness kicks in, boy, it's like never ending. Wow. It's like when you take off a cast on you. I never had a cast before, but I understand how it feels. It's like when you take off a cast and it just itch real bad, but it feels good at the same time. And like when you don't do nothing to your hair, and when somebody rub your hair, you're like, oh man, it feels so good. It's a never-ending feeling of everything that you have not touched within yourself, all in one. And it's just, man, this is crazy. Like under here, my hair is wild. I'm going to grow my dreads and all that stuff. You know, I understand why Samson in the biblical times had hair. I understand why he became weak when they cut his hair. I understand. I'm going to say understand.
Sorry, brother. Like, it's still like you say, it's a form of an alteration. And one thing you notice with this journey is like this beautiful. I just loving what you're saying about how you stirred up the natural feelings. I know you ain't faking it, bro. Cause like I admit, like I even almost looking up to you in the sense of that's where I want to be as well. And I see how the suffering you went through, the pain and suffering, boom, just catapulted you too, because I didn't experience that. So it's almost like, see, suffering forces us to learn. It forces us to look within. And what I like is when when you deal with waking up the supernatural, right? Because you got the natural and the supernatural, you have more of this empathetic connection to all living,
yeah.
because only loving sentient beings could access these higher realms organically. You see? So it's, I mean, it's amazing how when you realize it's all about surrendering. And when you said, don't cut your hair, don't cut your nails, drive fast, you're actually surrendering. And
Yep.
this internal, like, you're not, so like, even when you like in meditation or you doing your cultivation, you're not moving, but you are moving. It's like you would, like how a plant moves, but it's internally, right? So
Energy. That's
it's
what energy
part
is.
of,
Energy and motion.
right, the Wu Wei, or the art of non-doing. You're doing, but it's almost like you're not exalting the energy away. You're not having to exhaust energy. Like, for example, a brother that will addicted to porn or ejaculates a lot, eats a bunch of shit, he may have to use his physical body to get resources because he cannot use or channel certain ethers to an extent to get certain avenues or certain works done. So he has to work more physically, and you're not tapping into the creative or the aspect of you, you know, that since we are conglomerate of bodies, you know, you realize that, like, if I put you, not to compare higher or lower, but for example, someone that's alkalized or they're in balance, you could have a thought and act on it, and it will come more instantaneously compared to someone that could kind of be off a bit more acidic. And you know, it may take 1 to even 2 years or more for him to finally see that thought manifest, you see? So I want to ask you something about what, you know how when you watch Sanetta, right? And you know, like we got the Black conscious community and how people talk about white supremacy, they talk about the government. Now, my only issue is, and I want to see how you feel about this, is I was talking to some young brothers too here on the island, right? Because I kind of spit the same type of stuff now, but I still consider you to be more of a bigger embodiment. You know, I love it. But would you say, like how people talk about as a revolution with the government, right? But it's almost like we still have these addictions, these things that we say that we believe we need. So would you think that overthrowing the current government that feeds our people, like what would that really do if they didn't really do the inner work? Would it be a shock? Like, should they really just see this as the foundation rather than going to kind of try to run, well, let's, you know, because a lot of people say this is pseudoscience. We got to buy land. We got to buy cryptocurrency. And it's almost like they want to bypass this inner work that you doing, brother. What would you say to these people, to our people, and why it's so important to start this type of work and not just to try to run to overthrow a government when the very cells in you are addicted to those things, and it may be a shock. You know what I mean? So what would you say?
Okay, on that note, some people, it's hard to get, and it's hard to get in contact with the higher self in them. You see, because some people were just so deep into a program for so many years to where the belief systems that they acquired along these journeys of their existence, it became imprinted there. So now they're only going to continue to repeat this servant cycle. Now, the only way that I see fit that can, you know, assist people in, you know, I just use myself as an example for everything. Those that know me, they know they know my background. They know where I came from. They know how I used to live. And the fact that they see the change within myself physically now. You see, not only am I teaching, I know I'm teaching people and helping people, is because all these people are starting to come to me. Even the people that shun me, those that judge me, are coming to help. I never judged anyone. I stopped judging. I understand now. I didn't delete nobody due to their lack of ignorance, or due to their ignorance. I
Yes.
didn't do anything because I want these people to see and believe and know that everyone can change. Everyone has a choice. How are you? The thing is, when you understand logic, you understand that it plays a big part in existence. That's the left side of your brain. And the right side, you see, the left side is logic. Sometimes you have to live that way. You have to question yourself in logic. If, okay, I know if I was to do that, I would, this could happen or that could happen. But if I don't do that and I do this instead, how would it turn out? You see, this is something that's going to force itself into existence now. This is the logic part. And this is when you're able to connect your left and your right hemisphere of your brains together, this is how you reach enlightenment. You reach enlightenment. This is how I've done it. You start to realize the main purpose of things, and for you to gain control of your avatar state. Gaining control of your avatar state is the body that we possess. And what you have internally of your own knowledge, how are you going to what could you do to better that? What can I do to control all of my emotions, to govern my own mind? What can I do to do these things? When you ask these questions, these answers just come to you. The universe speaks to people. The universe will reveal its biggest secrets to those that dare to follow their heart. And Ralph Smart been saying that, and it makes perfect sense. You see, I don't have to ask people questions. Like my mentors were Sadhguru, Atum El-Amin. I actually, this kid named Master of Earth, I don't know where he disappeared to, but I learned how to walk again watching him. It's like everybody that presented themselves to me, it's as if I placed these people here, in my past existence to remind myself what I have to do next to get to the next level now. You see, because I broke this cycle, and the way that you can tell that you broke the generational curse of your karmic ways, your hell karma, you will begin to see the family, your close friends around you. You will start to see them begin to evolve in ways that you have not experienced them do that as well. So at the same time that you're experiencing their success, your success is being manifested. It might not feel like it, and but you can also tell by how are you feeling during these emotional states that you're having. How are you feeling due to the fact that you see your parents and your friends with success? You see their success happening. Now, this is what I'm experiencing right now. Now, I'm still learning all this. I'm like, wow, this is great. So now that I know that, and I know that my mom, they're really like, I'm like, wow, man, to experience her karma with her and her hell with her, being a second son and top flight security of the world, because I was the oldest boy. So experiencing other people's and those that are close to you's karma, you're experiencing them because you are all one. They are only a figment of your imagination. All of your friends and close people that's in your circle, they are the part of you that you perceive in yourself. And when they all start to get into a line of success, this is how you can tell you are perfect in synchronicity. You are in perfect connection with the creator. Whatever it is that you desire of your purpose will manifest. Now, when you are happy for those that are having successful moments around you, as if it is you having a success, man, your time is right there. It's right there. And the catch to that is, it's nothing comes easy. What the guy in the commercial said, you got to be quicker than that. The way it goes is you have to remain grounded. Now you're going to be, for this moon is a very powerful moon. Everything when during your successful times and during these transitions that we have, you're always being tested. You're being tested to you're going to be sent back into the ways that you used to live. Now the purpose of this next chapter of this game is, how are you going to respond to the same past emotions that you experience? Now, being as though you experienced them already and you learn from them, The way to enter this new paradigm of existence, which I call heaven on earth, baby, you have to find balance with everything existing. You have to love everything of your true nature. You have to become best friends with the devil, because the devil lives inside of you, and that's your ego. And once you get your ego to realize the it will not exist if you don't exist. So now we got to come up to a little situation here. You're going to listen to me. I govern my mind. So now all of my thoughts that I have, I know what thought is mine. Now I'm going to say this here too. You know, I don't know why I didn't say it yet, but when I had broke my fast, the way this moon is working so tremendously is it brings back reoccurring urges. It brings back all of these things that you stepped out of. So I'm being tested as we speak right now. Like, I'm being tested for everything that I do, and being as though I'm consciously aware of this, and you just go with the flow with it. You have to let go of resistance. When you resist, it gets stronger. But when you just learn and go look at this, just stand outside, look at the trees and crazy winds. It can be when the tree is planted and its root is so well and firm, it just sits there like qigong, and it flows with the air. You flow with the air and you don't resist it. You see, the same when you're swimming and the waves are getting crazy. You have to let go and surrender to the water and become the water. You have to flow with it, and you have to know and believe that what you're doing is actually happening. And when you come to realize these things, you will look at life completely different. And everything around you will change based on your perception. Because when your world is changing inside, everybody around you, everybody around you will start changing. And you'll just say, wow, this is great. I'm really happy for them. I know everything.
That's a great, hey man, that's a great answer, man. It reminds me when I heard Ella Tom, you know, that's my boy too. I heard Ella Tom say, when you change the atom, you change reality. You know, you change the nature of the atom. And you know, brother, I really loving this talk, man. You know, we gotta wrap it up soon. And you know, what would I swear I could just sit here and ask questions all day, bro. All day.
I'm about to step out, but the phone coming with me. So I control my, you know, I'm not into this matrix.
So do you question, so you say like after, did you like you were like much more overweight, right? You said you were much bigger.
I was 200. I was 235.
And how much you weigh now?
I'm like 118 or under.
Oh my Lord.
I'm telling you. And this might sound far-fetched, but when you know that something is about to happen and you know that something is so real, it presents itself. So I know, like all these movies, like I've been watching shows, like random shows I've been watching, and everything it all makes sense and it all matches to what I'm going through inside. You see, I'm learning and I'm teaching myself. Lately, I've been watching certain shows or series like the show Legion. Oh my God, check that out. It's called Legion. Find it on Netflix.
I think I watched that back in the day, man. I have
No, that's the movie. That's the movie part. This is a series.
Oh, it's a series.
3 seasons. Now, it's telling you everything that you can do. And I know this because it feels so daggone real. Like I know it's possible. So a lot of people have been saying, John, let me find out you. So you telling me I'm going to see you floating next, right? You want to be floating and levitating, right? All I keep saying, listen, man, I know you can fly. I know I can fly. I'm so light to where I just get in handstand position and do what I want, and I can just sit there as if I don't even exist there. It's like I'm just floating in my mind. When you just imagine everything that you can do. Your imagination is God. God is your imagination. When you understand this and when you know that, everything that you believe that you can do, because if it was not true, why would the thought come to you? Why would the thought present itself to you if it's not true? And you have to know what's true. Know thyself. Because when you know yourself, you know that whatever thought you get, you know you wouldn't do it, so you know it's not yours. But the thought that you know you would engage in, you can act on that. This is how we have to know the difference of how to live consciously. When we are doing this consciously every time, watch how the world ends for you. Watch how everything go, because the world never dies. Nobody ever dies. And when we reincarnate when we die. You see, oh man, I can just keep going with this, man. We got to do another session of these
there
two.
have to be a part two, and I just want to commend you on, like, I trying to think of the people that knew you before.
Oh man, it's like you can't even.
To
It's
see
like you can't explain something.
transformation that took place after. It's almost like that accident was sent by the gods, man. It was almost like.
And you know what? I actually kept my Facebook and my Instagram. You can go check on my Instagram. My name on there is Atum_Ra.
On Instagram. Okay,
you'll see my.
I gotta make room for you on Facebook. My friends list is big. I'll make room for you today, you know. But I am like, that's amazing, man. I really commend you on that, and the way that you made that transformation in just from 2017 to now is only 2020, and you're talking about, you know, your chakra. But what I like is you're not talking about it from a secondhand experience. You're not talking about it from a book. You're not talking about it from what a mentor told you, because there's no higher spiritual tradition than your own intuition. All right. People could join the Masons, the Knights Templars, the Rosicrucians, whatever they want to join, but there's nothing higher than your own intuition. And you realize that I do have a school online that people enroll, and I, you know, teaching some of this stuff. And the first thing I say is that I am not the teacher. I am the spokesperson for your own intuition. You see, just like what we're doing. And it's, man, I even want to, I would love to feature you on my own channel as well. So it's amazing, you know. So, I mean, before we wrap this up, like, what, you know, what, like, how does your day go, man? Like, when you wake up.
Oh man, I was just about to say it.
Like,
see, everything that you were saying, every question that you're asking, I know what you're going to say. And it's like I prepare myself for this. I don't even gotta prepare myself. It's like the topic just comes right there. And I'm like, oh, that must be his thought or something. So I'm just gonna wait and see him say it. So when he says that, then I know that it's my thought. Because that's how you also can confirm that. When you think about doing something, but you don't physically say it, somebody else can say the same exact thing that you say. Now, when that happens, that's how you can tell that that was your thought. This is what people have to learn to realize, like a lot of things. But
yeah. So how does your day, man? Like when you wake up, if you
my
sleep,
day
I don't even know if you sleep, but you know, if you like, how does your day go, man? Like, do you wait? Do you like do the qigong, or do you like is there like a particular meditation you like? Do you write? Do you like music? Do you know? Well, how do you get into? Because here's my thing now. What I find is when you
I'm putting the dress now. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
step into this higher energy, you have to know what to do with your time.
Exactly.
What do you do? Like, what do you gauge into your creativity as that nourishes you more than just a texture of just consuming and eating food? How does your day go, brother? What is your daily ritual?
Now, I was just about to say this too. So, like what I'm currently doing right now is I'm putting another layer of clothes on because it's kind of cold. So don't mind me. I just go with the flow of everything. You cannot resist anything. Whatever you have an urge to do or some things, like I be having urges of eating and things because I actually know what's happening right now during this paradigm shift. So I get urges or whatnot. So sometimes like the past couple of days, I'm actually being tested. I've been staying at my cousin's house and not at my house. Because at my house, when I'm at my place, that's my palace. So I'm in control of everything there. So I have to learn and I have to master the art of this while being in the world, like while being outside of my place. I have to be there because you have to learn and master the fact that, you know, it's a lot of influence out here. And you have to understand all these other ways that these influences happen.
and through emotions and feelings. And when you realize that thoughts come to you from other people can be hungry or something. You know, you can smell something and it a trigger an emotion to have you think, you know what, I can do this or blam blam, or you might act on it. But if you know what's happening, I just start breathing. It's like you breathe, because once you
Okay.
breathe and you come into your inhale 4 seconds, once you do this at least 5 times and you only focus on making sure you do that breathing right, you will have no thought of anything. Your mind will be so clear, it will be so open to where you won't even know what the heck you were just about to do, because you're focused on breathing, on what you're doing. That's how you stay present. You see, when you're in the past all the time, you're thinking about something that you could have went different or whatnot, you're only causing depression because you can't
Yes.
live and relive something that you already lived. And in the future, you're causing your own anxiety because you cannot get there. You want to get there, you're anxious to get there, but it's impossible because you're in the now time. You see, once you learn this, and you come to realize, okay, I can bring both of these into this same reality right here and make it into one. Now, the way that you know this is working is, like I said earlier, everything would be perfectly in line for you. Like you would start to see success around your circle, your friends, everything. You'll start to see everybody's success within your circle. And the feel that you get while doing that is how you know that your time is coming. And you see, you have to detach yourself. This is what I want everybody to learn to do. Is you have to learn to detach yourself from the material world. It's an illusion. They make you think you need work, you need jobs to acquire money and all these other things.
Productivity.
When you're living your true divine nature and your divine purpose, all of these things of your true nature, it comes to you. So if something important came up, or you needed money for your kids or something whatnot, it will come to you. You know, it'll come to you in a different way. Like what I do during the day. You know, I'm doing a project here at my aunt's house. I've been in the construction like my whole life. You know, everything that I've learned of every trade, it was for a reason. So being as though I've been, you know, putting the work that she's been asking me to do on the back burner, you know, and blowing it off. Now that I'm living my authentic lifestyle, you know, I cannot lie for shit. It's like the Jim Carrey movie with the Yes Man. You can't lie. It's like it's forceful. You
Yeah,
have to do nothing but truth.
absolutely. Wow. Character development.
Reflects back to you. Everything reflects back to you. So during my time, I love construction. I have a love for that too. So I'm helping them redo their house. You know, and when you do things, you're doing these things out of love. And what's the purpose of, you know, asking for something if you know daggone well this is the person, this is what I created. You know, I'm not going to sit here and not help, not participate in the success of my peers around me. You know, I'm going to help them, you know, elevate themselves. So being as though I'm living an authentic life, never seeing the trueness of myself from what I used to be into this big transition. Oh man, I'm
If
telling you.
you could do it, yeah, man, that's an inspiration. If they, the fact that you could have been paralyzed, you was, you know, I mean, that's amazing. You an inspiration, brother. Keep up the good work, man. I know I don't have to tell you that, but I mean, genuine, like,
Thank you. This is just all new to me because I've never expected in a million years to actually have this many people actually paying attention to me and following me like this. You see, because I
wow,
grew up in the projects. I grew up in and out of, you know, I was in the gang life. I've experienced all of these things. I always considered myself a nerd. You know, I always did what I wanted to do. I never cared what nobody else thought about me. You know, I was like a nerd gangster at the time, and I just didn't care. So
nerd
all
gangsters.
this was for a reason. All of this was for a reason, and I'm so grateful that I was able to experience all of these things and experience my hell. And at the same time, now I'm expressing this freely worldwide. So it's like the Truman Show. Everyone's watching me from
Yeah.
who I used to be into now,
They sense the power.
because everybody.
They
But
sense the power that's been acclimated and fine-tuned and that you embodied, you know. You would be amazed that just people would just know, like they'll come to you and ask questions and they would know intuitively, you know, and it's amazing, man. You know, I really enjoyed this interaction, brother. You know, I'm actually gonna watch the recording again. I gotta, you know, for the second interaction, I might even be sending you some messages, man. You know?
Hey, I get messages from everybody all day, all night. My phone has become a hotline, and I'm like, wow. And being as though I know that these people that are this was told to me from a guy over in Jamaica like 6 months ago. Random stranger calls me on Instagram, says to me, you were supposed to be a wealthy man. You were blocked. You have a generational curse that needs to be broken. You were supposed to have millions of followers. You are something. You were somebody important, and it stuck to me. And I'm just like, what's going on here? So after that, then I started to find certain people out of nowhere. Then I started to jump into things that I really love to do, like health. And I done went and created gardens. I done did city cleaning on my own. I done did all of these things. And I didn't even need to record. I didn't want to record none of these things. You see, I don't do none of this for recognition or anything. You know, this is just what I feel as though I need to do. All these years of me sitting here growing, destroying the earth, not realizing or understanding the true purpose of her. Now I'm enlightened on it now. So I have to give back the way that I know. I did my cleaning, you know, I did my gardening. People demolish things again, but you can't hold on to that emotion because you did your part to it. You tried. You did what you're doing. The 80-20 rule. 80% progress, 20% work. You see, man, this is great. So everyone's coming to me all hours of the night asking questions. I'm like, wow, this is great. I never knew people actually paid attention to me like that.
You did not see that coming. Wow.
And you always remain grateful. Always remain grateful of everything that happens, even if it's in a negative way, because negative is good, and this is how you find balance. You have to experience the negative, understand, observe the negative and the positive. So once you realize things and you learn to question yourself in logic, you have to use the left side of your brain to compare the right side. You have to learn breathing. You see, and another thing I learned along. Oh man, this is just great. We're gonna just go ahead and continue another thing, because once I get into this is how I eat right here. This is how I feed off of energy. You know, doing something that you love to do and you're speaking on. And when you're doing this, you're only focused on what it is that you're loving to do, which means you have no thought of anything else. So therefore, you're not going to get hungry. You see,
yeah,
you have to learn.
This hunger, eating is, if you are idle person, you know, and you kind of trying to step into the higher energy levels, you would just kind of eat yourself back to sleep, you know.
Oh man, exactly. and when those times are going to come, you're going to be tested. And like all this food and all this stuff came back around. I had indulged in a couple sandwiches, like healthy, like jelly and certain peanut butter sandwiches or whatnot. You know, I don't go. I have not fallen to the earth. Trust me. And this is what the Bible means. When you get kicked out and you fall back into the earth, that's you dismissing yourself from heaven. Why would I want to do that? Right? It feels great here.
Yeah. Right.
So, this is just I'm going with the flow. I'm not resisting. So I know the limits. I know what I'm doing. I know how to balance all these things out. So then it's going to get to a point to where you're not going to want to eat anything else because you don't want to go to the bathroom. It's to the point where I've trained myself. All I kept speaking was I'm a breatharian. What you speak on about yourself after I am, it becomes your reality. So it's like whatever I was eating, it never made it past here. I would throw it all up. Like it's like I'm just spending money. I'm just spending money and eating all this stuff. I know what's happening, you know, but it's coming up. It's like it don't go down. So this is how you know things are actually coming to exist.
Your body's starting to reject it because the new intention being set in. That's deep from the core of your desire. You know, like what, and as I have the same. It's funny. I started to have the same experiences where I just started to reject certain things, like my body, my avatar, and man, we could go on and on, brother. I just want to say, we're about to wrap it up. For the people that watch this, what's your just restate your Instagram, your Facebook, if you have like a YouTube channel, where can the people find you?
Well, I made a YouTube for my kids first. I made one for me too. I didn't really, get anything up there yet, because I know that the way that the connection is to people in this reality of mine is social media. The YouTube world is for the kids. That's how I look at it. For me, YouTube is for the kids because this is how that's their way. They control the machines that way. Me, our realm, everyone of my age in reality is in social media. So that's how I'm able to contact and get all these people to follow. So Facebook,
Yes,
the
that's true.
name on February 2nd is the 60-day time is up for me to change my name. So my name is going to just be straight Atum. I'm going to just name it Atum. That's it. Instagram
Okay.
is
That's
Atum underscore.
ATUM. ATUM.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Instagram is Atum underscore Ra. You'll
Understood.
see me floating with my levitating picture floating around because
Okay.
I'll be levitating within a year or two.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Wow. All right, brother. Good inspiration, man. Really, glad to have you on the Alkalise to Realize show. Like I said, it's amazing. Keep doing the good work, brother, because we need this shit so bad.
And I've actually created something that, you know, there's a cure for everything, right? So we know everything runs off of frequency. We know everything goes off of these frequencies and alters your brain and controls you. This is how they control you through binaural waves and all of these things, right? So just like this might be sorcery or whatever they might call it, witchcraft or whatnot. They put up a force field. It's like a force field of negative energy with all this 5G towers and stuff that they're doing. They're putting these negative frequency waves around us, right? So we're basically in a biodome full of negative energy. What I did was I'm going to present it, sooner or later, one of these days. My company, Z&J Health, the creation of something that breaks all negative frequencies. What if you can place something around the outside, the outskirts of the entire continent and countries and cities everywhere? And once these are up here, these are towers that, it's like a big giant EMP. It's like and it never runs out. And the way that it's going to work is it is only running off of the natural climate changes. So you got the rain, you're using the elements, the natural elements of the cosmos and the earth to power these things. And the frequencies it's going to give off, it's going to break off, it's going to basically allow people to break free of these compelled um, cycles that they're repeating over again. It's going to start to allow them to think consciously for themselves. It's going to allow them access of consciousness with their own, like they can think for themselves without any belief systems. It's going to re-alter their brain waves. And these are frequencies that you ain't going to really hear it. It's going to be like a so pitched frequencies that you cannot hear it, but you're going to feel it.
You
Let me
can't.
just say this.
They
You
say
know
the
what I use?
greatest. They say the greatest secret. It's invisible and inaudible.
Yep. And this is exactly what it is. And this is going to break everyone free. You see, I'm doing this for everyone because
Wow.
everyone don't realize back in the Egyptian ancient times, everyone was connected. So everybody, all these gods and goddesses had all this power. And once everyone comes together as one, everyone has the ability to share every single power that they have. And they don't realize this. And when they come into realization, and this is why I'm actually showing and bringing this into this reality so people can physically see my change and transition. So once they start to see me really float and fly, it's no way that they ain't gonna want to jump in that rabbit hole, because that rabbit hole deep, and I'm probably like 73,000 miles deep in it, and I'm still going. This is a never-ending cycle. This is a real marathon.
It's no end to the hidden light. It's no end.
Exactly.
Wow. Oh, you man, sound like you resurrecting the ancient technology.
That's natural state, baby. That's how it is. I mean, we gotta look at it. They created us. Anunnaki's like, what abilities would we have if they hadn't made us like this? Like, we were here already with just lack of knowledge. We didn't do nothing. We were like cavemen, had no knowledge of anything. You see, they look at it as they made us as slaves or whatnot, but I don't look at it that way. They gave us great abilities. Like, I know how to talk. I know how to walk. I can fucking damn near levitate.
You know what? Our next show, because I'm actually like, that's the Anunnaki story.
Oh yeah. Oh man, you'd be
let's
surprised
get
now that I got on that.
let's get into that, because I want to let's see, because I know of the story too, and we could probably have a little debate on, because there's different perspectives of how people see it. Some see the Anunnaki as they are the fake gods, and then you have the actual nomos, the Elohim. You actually have God. Some people say that they met us here, and that we actually have original progenitors, and that the Anunnaki actually came and altered, created a different, a subclass of humans that they rule, that they control us over. So it's a lot, brother, but
Yeah.
that's the story. But again, thank you. Much love to you, man. Keep up the good work. Even my girl was sitting here, before she left. She's like, okay, all right. Definitely. All right.
Thank you. It's all appreciated. You're all appreciated and loved, man. This is great to have this experience right here. To be able to speak worldwide and just have all these people actually coming to some type of light. And wow, he's really not crazy after all. I've been through it. I went through it, but the outcome is great though, man. I tell you. But everybody just stay grounded. Do not lose faith in yourself. You don't have the person that you're praying to into the sky, whoever you're praying to, you're only praying to yourself, because God lives in you. You are God. And the way that God lives is through your body. So you have to get your body together, the kingdom of God, and let God work through you. But you are in control. You are in full control. He's just giving you, he's surrendering his abilities to you. This is what you have to come to realize. Stay grounded, keep everything positive, perform some alchemy a little bit or something, turn that negative into positive.
Convert the low
It's gonna
to
work.
higher. All right.
See, I'm about to go out here and get some of these microcosmic energies right now. Look at that sun out there. But we can continue this. I think I did send you a request before already.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I tried to accept it, but I realized I had 5,000 friends, so I'll make room. And one day I'm gonna meet you physically.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I am, because I am on the same journey and path as you, and oh boy, this is amazing. Anyway, brother, for everyone, thank you. This is the Alkalise to Realize show. We had an amazing experience that he shared with us. A lot of insight, and remember, family, the only way out is in.
And
All right, let me stop the recording.